So like the sun coming from billions of or millions of miles away, by the time it gets here, the wave is a straight line. The wave is a straight line. And actually, I lied. I should have put my glasses on. There are 6. There are 6 wires on that. You guys probably saw that already. I'm just going to keep talking like a fool that I am. I am all over the place with these LEDs. And probably in the end, I'm going to be into it more than if I would have just purchased a Kessel, you know. Kessel would have just solved it, right? But I want to save money. Anyway, and I'm cheap, right? So I'm going to spend more than a Kessel figuring this out. But it's educational, and hopefully you'll get something out of this, like maybe buy a Kessel and don't do all this. I don't know. Anyway, in the end, I am going to take some of this stuff that I have purchased and probably pop it in the big display. So what I've got going now is in this light situation here, which I'm looking at the camera and I forgot that is totally blue. Let's get some of the, let's get, woohoo, wrong app. Let's get some of the colors going, or some of the white to show up better. Boom, 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 boom. I forget which one. That's more blue. That's more white. Is that showing up better in the camera? I think it is. There we go. Yeah. So, haha, right? For some DIY LEDs, you can control each individual light. So what I've got going here is in the Vipar, and actually quite a few of the LED products that you get for reef tanks, is you have these 3-watt LED bulbs, and it's basically a single LED that's in there, and it's 3 watts. And it's got this big ball on the end of it, right? And so if you don't put a lens cap on it, you don't get one of these lens caps here, then the spread, I'm going to show you up close. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So here's one of these little tiny 3-watt LEDs, and you can put, this one already has the lead in it because I popped it in. If you put this, you can get it to have a little bit of a spread, but it's still coming from a single point. And so what that does is when you see all that shimmer on the bottom of somebody's reef, it's usually because it's coming from a single point, and that makes a more solid shadow. So like the sun coming from billions of or millions of miles away, by the time it gets here, the wave is a straight line. The wave is a straight line, and you get a sharp shadow, right? It's because the sun looks like it's coming from a single point. And so you might get a lot of shadows and shimmers and whatnot, but I'm not going to talk about spread yet. So that's why these particular 3-watt LEDs focus more, give you shadows, give you that shimmer effect going on, more so than something that gives a big spread. Now, if you put a bunch of these LEDs side by side, like put 10 of them in a row, maybe all under one single lens cap, then that's one way to go to get you a nice spread. But another way to do it is if you get a different kind of LED, you get a cob, forget what that stands for, look it up, COB, cob. And these LEDs, if you look inside there, there's 9 LEDs all in a single dome in a tight little area. And so what that does is it gives you a really nice spread. So let's take a look closer at the tank here, because if you notice, where am I? I'm just going to use the zoom so I don't move stuff around. But if you see there, there's a really nice spread going on. You don't have that single point LED. What I have in there right now is I only have two of those cob lights. I have one that's blue and one that's white. Let me aim this a little bit higher, and you can see the LEDs, and I'll go ahead and pick them up so you can see them. I have three UV, the 390 spectrum, that you see the black. Here, I'll go point them. These ones right here, 1, 2, 3, those are just the single 0.3 watt LEDs. The cob LEDs here, we see I've got a blue and a white, and I don't know if it's coming in the camera, but I'm going to show you up close. Those have 9 little LEDs on each one of them. Now these babies get hot, so that's why it's on this nice, you can buy them on eBay, and you can get them with the heatsink. But if you already have a heatsink, for example, if you have an old computer, CPUs have nice big thick heat sinks, you can put a bunch of these little cobs on there, right? Like I could probably fit 2 this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 this way, and this is a nice thick aluminum heatsink. So I'm thinking for the big display, I might end up doing this, because the spread on this thing is beautiful. Here, let's see, let me turn off. If I turn the cob LEDs off, then you can see just the UVs. So let's just turn them all the way down. Boom. Well, you can't really see the UVs, can you? The UVs, I also have them on a dimmer, but I don't have the cute little app dimmer. Probably if I turn some lights off. Let's see. Turn that light off. Whoo. Turn that light off. Is that coming better? A little better. Turn that light off. Okay, so we can see now, all I have are the 3 UVs. If I back off just a little bit, you can kind of make out there where the spotlight is on these. So this one, this LED here has got a spotlight right there. This LED back here has a spotlight right on the Jedi Montipora that's back there. And this third one is lighting up, it's lighting up the Xenia right there in the back. I don't know why I have it right above that. But, oh, let's take this off. What if I move them around a little bit, and you can kind of see? Yeah, so I'm going to hold on to this one, and you can kind of see, you can highlight, ooh, that gets warm. I'm highlighting the candy cane coral there, but as soon as I get it away, it's no longer, it no longer has the full spectrum on there. And so what do? You end up having to take these LEDs and lift them up super high. And I better get this fan back on them because it was cooling them off. So anyway, you can see my LED situation is kind of a mess. Let's zoom back out, and so I can show you individual things here. My biggest rabbit hole that I'm falling through here is which LED do I get for the little nano? And we can see these LEDs, even in the nano, they want to pinpoint down. And the lenses that I got on these have that, they're supposed to have a nice spread, but I think they're only doing, I had a previous video, I can't remember the exact angle, but it's basically, well, let's turn these ones on, because these ones right here are the blues. Now I don't have them on a dimmer. Well, let's turn these guys back on. So I got my blues, got my whites, so that way we can see better on the camera. I'll explain how I'm doing that in a different video, but let's get these on here. We can see if I have this high up. Man, I've got a mess of stuff going on here. I've got it on individual dimmers. I've got all kinds of different things going on testing LEDs. So there's 3 different kind of LEDs that I've got going on. I've got the 9 LEDs in a single cob device. And you've got the nice pinpoint one, which are these, the 3-watt LEDs. And then I've got this one, which is an 18 watt. Let me show you this one up close. See, I've got it on this, you can control the voltage and the amperage that's going to your LED. And I want to do that to find out, is there a way that I can just fix some resistors on here and have it turn on and just be a one fixed color and spectrum and intensity? Or do I need to wire it so that I can individually control? So let me show you up close to what I'm talking about. This particular LED, let's see if it shows up on there, has 6 LEDs right in there. It has a red LED, it has a blue, it has a green, it has a white, it has UV. I left one out somewhere, didn't I? It has 6. So anyway, you can see each one of these little things control. There's actually no, it only has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got to get my glasses on, but I think it only has 5. 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it only has 5. So it has UV. Let me count it with my fingers. It has UV, has red, has green, has white, and has blue. That's it. It has 5. And you probably saw it before I did by looking right at the LEDs and counting them. This side's all negative, this side's all the positive feed, and you can take, this, feed it into the negative, cob them all together, or solder them all together, and these individually, so that you can change the voltage and the amperage that's going to each one of these. You can also put a pulse width modulator on each one of these, and that can change the intensity of the light as well. So there's different things you can do and different controllers that you can get, or you can make your own with transistors. But this is the one I think I'm going to end up using, because it has a pretty nice spread, because they're all in this nice little, that nice little lens that you see there. It's got a little bubble to it. It has a pretty good spread. Better than those 3-watt LEDs. Those just are like beams. I can't find a lens on there that, the lenses that I bought, they say that's 120 degrees spread, but they're not. I think you have to get something that says a 200 degree spread or something in order to get those to work, because they don't spread. They just pinpoint. Anyway, that is one. That is hopefully the option that I'm going to get to work. The only problem with that one is the controller situation, and I think I want to control each individual light because I like the way this one's working. But I was going to show, let me grab a piece of paper. Actually, I lied. I should have put my glasses on. There are 6. There are 6 wires on that. You guys probably saw that already. This is the sheet, the data sheet on it. And so there's red in the 620 to 630 spectrum, nanometer. Tells you how many lumens it puts out, tells you how many milliamps it needs at this voltage in order to get that that intensity. So we have red, green, blue, white, yellow, and purple. Oh, it's calling it purple. That's the UV, because it's 395. What did I say? I thought I said 390. It's 395 to 400. It's right in that. They're calling it purple, but that's UV. I said all those colors, but then why did I only count 5? Yellow. I'm not using yellow. That's why I did not solder a wire to the yellow. I don't think I did anyway. But not sure if I want to use the yellow, although the yellow could kind of offset the white. I'll probably wire it in there anyway, just to play with it and figure out what's going on. But there's 2 that run at 2.5 volts. The red and the yellow, they run at 2.5 volts. and the other 4 run at 3.5 volts. So you see there, I start running into problems with trying to control those because I need to put a certain voltage on those that's different than the other 4, which means a separate controller, and that becomes complicated for this DIY person here. So I was going to get a piece of paper, wasn't I? So we could take a look. And you can see, I'm going to turn some of the lights off again so we can get a better look. All right, here we go. So way down here, if I take this light and lift it way up in the air, where am I? I'm at about 1.5 feet. So that's a good 20 inches. Let me grab a measuring tape so we can just absolutely know for sure what we're talking about. Now I'm walking into the kitchen. I'm curious if this will actually record. So I'm just going to keep talking like a fool that I am. Got the measuring tape. Now I'm walking back to my office, and we are going to take a look here and figure out how many inches exactly. So for this particular reef bowl, I'm looking here, I am at 17 inches. I wasn't too far off. What did I say, 20? I measured to my elbow, I said 1.5 feet, which is 18, but anyway. And the spread, from the looks of it to me, is about a good, and I have 2 LEDs on here, but they're right next to each other. I'm thinking about 7 inches.
To be continued.
Now what are you doing?
I think I got it.
How do you know if it's up or down?
I was wondering why that ball kept getting bigger, and then it hit me. That was awesome.